we have the training section. So here, having your corpora, in having uploaded corpora or using corpora that are available as public corpora, you can set up your own training. So there's this was one of the most challenging interfaces we had to build, because in here you have the power to tweak the way the model will behave during training or during the learning process by tweaking the parameters that are along with some details in the upper part of the screen. Then you will need to decide, and your decision will make things will make the whole difference between one engine or the other. You will need to decide how to split your corpora, or which corpora to use as training corpus, validation corpus, and test corpus. This is something that is explained in the book, and that will become handy. And you have a corpora selector here. Once you decide which is your source and target language, all your corpora that match those appear, and then you need to decide how many sentences you upload for each of the 3 types of corpora that are needed to train. And then here, hidden, you have the start training button. What happens next is that you start seeing how does the system train for an hour, leave. You can see, you can always have the information about the engine settings. So did I set beam size or batch size to this or that number? Did I use the right corpora? So as to stop your engine if you are not very confident about your choices. And you start seeing here engine stats that are changing as the system trains, right? This is at the end of 22 minutes of training. I stopped a system, it says here stopped, and I can see already how is it going. So what is, for example, the blue score that I'm having, perplexity, how many light bulbs or C3PO droids I consume for these 22 minutes of training. And I can pass the test set to see if I'm happy with with how the system is going. Oh, okay. So in the same screen, but at the bottom, you can see how we plot some of the progress during training for some of the metrics that the system uses to make decisions on whether keep on training or stop, or how is the learning process going, and the full log for each tiny step in the terms of epochs, steps. I know that this can be a little bit difficult now if you are not familiar with neural machine translation, but this gives you, this is go and live during the 1 hour training, so you can see how is it going. And once you become familiar, you can see if this is going better than your previous training. And this is what you will have in your training log in the engines library, as I was mentioning earlier. This is very powerful to teach about the many things that are let's say in the background of when you're training a system. There's a lot of terminology, a lot of things to understand, a lot of things to be careful about. And once you get them and you see one of these plotted graphs, you understand what's happening and why, for example, using the same corpus as training, dev, or validation and test, it's awful, and or what happens if you change your validation set to another one and you keep the other two, or what happens if you change one of the parameters. So this is the exciting things that you will be able to see live.